I've seen many people in my short walk with God. I went somewhere to preach, and I saw a damsel. This young lady looked like an Indian. When I looked upon this lady, I thought maybe she came for that meeting to trust God to win a contract. Because everything about her showcased excellence and glory. But to my greatest dismay, the lady was seeking God to get married. I said, it's not possible. What do you mean? Unless every man in where you live is blind. How old are you? I'm 38 years old. What? Have you been locked up in your room all your life? How come? She said nobody has asked her out in the last 7 years. That was the day I discovered that there's a mystery about light and darkness. There's a mystery, great mystery. It was from that day that I came up with the understanding that it's not beauty that gets people married, it's favor. But you see, there are many people who don't have enough light. They spend all their money on hair, on eyelashes, and on fingernails. But when you have light, you will know that there is an economy that Esther had. That even when nobody should see the king, she broke protocol. And when she entered, the king stood up and said, the search is over. It will take light. It will take light. Too many people don't have light. Somebody entered ministry. He wanted to start ministry in Abuja. And he gathered 100 million and entered the city. Said they've come to take over the city. He said, relax. How much is billboard? He paid for it. How much is tent? He paid for it. After 4 months, they became 3 in the tent. That was when he knew that what you need to start a ministry is not money, it's light. I wish you understood the excellency of light. You wouldn't jump into that business until you have light. If you understood the excellency of light, you will not start that course. They told you medicine is lucrative. Meanwhile, if you had checked in light, your career is in music. You would not have wasted. We were not wise. We were not trained. If I knew, I would have been studying God from 10 years. If I knew this is where I would end, I was in the studio with lab coat. All the chemicals I studied, I have not used one. Because I didn't have light. Studied chemicals, studied water, H2O. Water is H2O. Studying about pinnacle, arrangement reaction in medicinal chemistry. I didn't need any of them. But there was no light. There's nothing wrong in schooling. But if I had light, I would have schooled in the direction of my call. I would have schooled. It would have equipped me better. But I didn't have light. I was groping in darkness for many years before I began to hear the sounds of heaven. Why wouldn't I be studying political science if I'm a politician? If I knew that my place is in government? Why would I not be studying about business, economics, business realities if I know my place is in the economic world? Why would a businessman be studying theology? Because there's no light. And when you finish your master's, you will now need to go back for apprenticeship to learn your life and your calling. And so what light comes to do is that it gives you authority for rulership, and then it gives you power to crush the enemy. There are most of you here, the challenge that your family is going through, the challenge your ministry is going through, the challenge you are going through is darkness at work. If you had one flicker of light shine through that darkness, that challenge would have crumbled. And so the excellency of the presence, the glory of the presence is the fact that the presence furnishes you with light. Light that is consistent with your destiny. He looked at Jeremiah. He said, before you were formed in your mother's womb, I knew you. I ordained you and I sanctified you to be a prophet. You are not a priest. Your great-grandfather, your grandfather, and your father may be priests. You are a prophet. And your order of the prophetic is to uproot and to plant. And so when Jeremiah enters a city, he knows that he's an architect of civilization. If he sees something that is not consistent with the will of God, he can say, by this time next year, vanish from the face of the earth. Because he found his destiny. That kind of precision and accuracy, you can't pick it in the market. You can't pick it in the Bible school. You will only pick it in the presence. The greatest crisis of destiny is dislocation. Men that should go to Nineveh are on a boat going to another direction. And because they are not in the direction of their destiny, all their efforts count for nothing. Hear this. Your effort will be wasted until light comes to you. I've taught many times, if you are in the wrong direction, speed is not an advantage. Imagine if I'm supposed to go to Benue and I face Gombe. I'm driving on high speed. I have an accident. I stop, change the tire. Engine knock, I repair it. Put in all the labor. After 2 days, I will now arrive Gombe. I'm farther from my destination. But if I had light and somebody tells me, take left, not right, all of that waste wouldn't have been necessary. The excellency of the presence is that the light of God is furnished. And that light gives you authority to prosecute destiny. And that light gives you authority to destroy the enemies of your destiny. You are not a victim. You are just in darkness. And the moment light comes to you, you will discover how helpless the devil is. The devil is not as strong as he parades himself to be. He's a defeated foe. He's having spoiled principalities and powers. He made a public show of them, triumphing over them by the cross. The devil is not powerful. The devil only has instrument of deception that he uses to keep the sons of light in captivity. The moment light comes to you, you will discover your rulership over the devil. That's the excellency of the presence of God. That light dwells in God's presence. And so what does light do? Two things. Number one, light gives you authority in the realm of God. Because if you see things the way God sees them, then you can do them the way God does them. Jesus said that everything I do is what I see my Father do that I do. So light is the symbol of authority in the spirit realm. In Job chapter 38 verse 4, it said, declare now if you have understanding. What gives you the right to change things? What gives you the right to speak? What gives you the right to change things is the measure of light that is in you. If you have no light, you have no authority in the realm of God. What gives men power and authority in the realm of God is the light with which they are walking. In John chapter 1 verse 4 to 5, it said the light shines in the darkness. And it said the darkness comprehended it not. Every time light comes to you, you become an authority. And so the way God strengthens his servants is that he allows his light to shine upon them. You know the moon has no light. The light of the moon is received from the sun. But the moon is the ruler of darkness. And so the reason the moon is the ruler of darkness is because it's drawing light from the sun. That's how we also live and exercise authority on the face of the earth. Because every time we interact with the light of God, we begin to exercise authority. And Job said in Job 29 verse 3, he said, by light I walk through darkness. If there's anything in your life challenging your Christian experience, it's because there's no light in that area. And so the cure to that problem is to visit the presence again. Because the moment light comes, authority is bequeathed. The second thing light does is that it crushes the enemy. The devil will remain a tyrant in your life until light comes. The moment light comes without talking, the devil will run. See what you are struggling with. There are some men that if they show up, they won't need to talk. That thing will vanish forever and ever because they came. Not because they are speaking, but because the light they carry is a witness in the realm of the spirit. In 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 8, it said, and then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and he shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Light destroys darkness. If there is a darkness in your life, what the presence of God will do for you is that it will give you light to destroy that darkness. It can be sin, it can be poverty, it can be failure, it can be near success syndrome. It doesn't matter. Darkness has no authority in the dwelling of light. The authority of darkness ends in darkness. But the boundary of light's authority begins from darkness. The moment light shows up, darkness bows. It's a non-negotiable reality. It is eternally so. He said the light shines in the darkness. The darkness knows that it doesn't have the power to comprehend light. And so when you begin to do business in God's presence, the first thing God will do is that he will give you light. He will give you light. That light will give you authority. And that light will empower you to destroy darkness.